Good, happy Sunday evening. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast. Let's get started. First up, girl injured after being run over by car in Jaffrey. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9.
What's up Wednesdays this summer?
Look at me!
Exactly. Anthony Anderson is back with new episodes of To Tell the Truth.
Would the contestants mind twerking?
It's all part of ABC's summer fun and games.
It's a strange show.
To Tell the Truth returns Wednesday, June 21st on ABC.
Adam and Therese, this little girl is in stable condition at this hour. The assistant fire chief here in town says she is lucky considering what took place here today. Now, this accident happened around 12:45 this afternoon over on Cary Road. Officials say the little girl was just taken out of the car when, for some reason, it jumped out of park and began moving. She was caught by a back tire before being run over. She did receive some injuries to her lower body and abdomen area. Officials say she was treated on scene by paramedics before she was taken over to the helipad over at the Monadnock Community Hospital. She was then flown down to UMass Medical Center in Worcester. Now, the assistant fire chief says some good news here. She was alert and she was awake when his team arrived on scene.
She was alert and crying and actually telling us that she wanted to stand up, so that's good. I mean, 3-year-old gets run over by a car. It's pretty amazing that she made it through all that.
Now, it's still unclear as to why that car was moved out of park. That is all part of the investigation that is underway right now by the Jaffrey Police Department. They tell News 9 they expect to release more information as their investigation continues. We're live here in Jaffrey. I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Gas leak forces evacuation in Cambridge. A hydrogen gas leak forces a 4-story building in Cambridge to be evacuated, fire officials said. The leak occurred on the 3rd floor of 1030 Massachusetts Avenue Sunday afternoon. The Waypoint restaurant on the 1st floor had to be evacuated. The building also houses a handlebar indoor cycling studio. Police had to close Massachusetts Avenue in the city of the leak while crews assessed the situation, fire officials said. Air samplings were negative. No injuries have been reported. Man shot in Buxton suffered life-threatening injuries. A man in critical condition with life-threatening injuries at Maine Medical Center after being shot in Buxton early Sunday morning. Buxton police said they received a complaint that shots had been fired in the area of Old Orchard Road around 2:35 a.m. on Sunday. Dispatchers confirmed one man has been taken to Maine Medical Center with life-threatening injuries. He is in critical condition. The male shooter has been detained for questioning by Maine State Police at the Buxton Police Department. Police say there is no threat to the public. The area near 58 Old Orchard Road was blocked off as police investigated. We will update this story as more information comes in. Republican Senator unsure he agrees with Trump that Russia probe is witch hunt. Let's take a listen to this video from ABC News.
trust the brand doctors trust. Nexium 24 Hour is the #1 choice of doctors and pharmacists for their own frequent heartburn and all-day, all-night protection. When it comes to heartburn, trust Nexium 24 Hour.
And we are joined now by the two senators joining forces on that legislation to protect the special counsel, Robert Mueller, Republican Tom Tillis of North Carolina, Democrat Chris Coons of Delaware. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me right now. And Senator Tillis, let me begin with you right now. You just heard Kellyanne Conway right there. No commitment from the president not to fire Robert Mueller. She says you're going to have to go to his lawyer for that, although she says it's not being discussed. Your legislation would give a judge the ability to review any decision by the president to fire Robert Mueller. Why do you think it's so necessary?
Well, I think it's a necessary part of just continuing to improve the reputation of independence for the Department of Justice. This is something that lives beyond this special counsel. It provides the president with the opportunity to consult with the AG and the Department of Justice, potentially have one removed, but have that subject to a judicial review so that we make sure it's done for proper cause.
And the president is calling, and you just heard Kellyanne Conway repeat it again, the entire Russia story a fabrication, a witch hunt, and a hoax. Do you agree?
I'm not sure that I agree with the witch hunt, and we'll let the facts lead us to whether or not it was a hoax or a distraction, but we are where we are, and I want to see this investigation concluded so that we can get on to doing the good work the president's already started with regulatory reform, healthcare, and tax reform. This is a distraction I'd like to get past so that I can do as I have, go back to supporting the president's agenda.
Senator Coons, what are the prospects of passing this legislation?
Well, I think we've already heard strong interest from colleagues on both sides of the aisle in supporting this legislation. Senators Graham and Booker also introduced a similar piece of legislation before we went out. And, George, I'll point to you the fact that the president just signed a Russia sanctions bill, one that he initially opposed, but that passed the Senate by 98-2. I think this is also an important bipartisan effort that may shore up the rule of law and the separation of powers and may ultimately get passed.
The president.
Okay, and there you go on that report in that video. Also, a Republican senator on the Senate Judicial Committee told ABC News on Sunday that he is not sure he agrees with President Donald Trump's dismissal on the Russia investigation as a witch hunt. And that does it for the Briley King Newscast right here on the Briley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday evening. Good night, everyone. Bye.